So yesterday we celebrated All Souls Day, and we continue that yearly remembrance of those who have departed before us tonight, and more especially those who have departed before us in the Agrupación, and we have a good register of all those names before us. In a special way, we'll also remember those who departed, especially this year as well. And it's very timely that it's now. Notice that for whatever reason, All Souls Day doesn't fall out randomly, just November 2nd, just because it's November. Notice that in other religions, in other cultures, it's more or less the same time. In Mexico, there's the great celebrations of it, Dia de los Muertos and all that, which you kind of sometimes see as like, maybe it's not so Catholic, but it's definitely something that's been there before Christianity arrived, and it's around this time. Also in other cultures, it's around this time, for some reason, that yes, there is a universal remembrance of the dead. Probably it's because the time has changed. And we see now it gets darker earlier. Our time is noticeably changed. Also around this time, well, and we've seen already in the Gospel, as the weeks now start winding down and counting down towards Advent. Advent's going to be the last Sunday of this month, so we're pretty much now counting down to Advent. The liturgical year is over. Time is running out. And so the Gospels that we've heard over the last couple of weeks have been kind of this urgency. Your time is running out. Make sure things are set right. Make sure that anything that needs to be corrected is corrected, because time is quickly running out. Well, what we have here before us is exactly that, a discernment of time. We've got a rank of professionals in front of us that have something to do with time. The more we enter our work, and especially our profession, time is money. Time becomes a commodity. And what we devote our time to, not just our billable hours, but our free time even, however little it may be, it becomes more precious. What do we do with that time? We have families. What do we do with our time? We have responsibilities in our jobs. What are we going to do with that time and with the time that we have for ourselves? So time is perhaps one of that greatest commodity that we have at this moment, and the gentlemen in front of us have. How do we use that time? What are we going to do with that time, especially right now when time is running out in a certain way? Well, that discernment that they do, asking to be postulants, is exactly that, an investment in a choice of what to do with their time. And this group already has been doing something with their time in those Saturday mornings, getting together to be formed, to share, to grow more in a Catholic brotherhood. And they will continue to invest their time more and more, not just together, but on their own, in the decisions they make for their families and the decisions they make in their profession. And so what we have here is that great exercise of discernment of time, something that we find sometimes lacking or running out of so often. Just as the Gospel tells us that the one who is ready to prepare a great project, a great enterprise or undertaking, has to sit down and take the time to really figure out how to do it, so we do in the same way on the road to being a congregante. We take a lot of time, actually. We've got our different stages. We have our postulancy, we have our aspirancy, and that takes its time. Because exactly like Jesus says that the king or the general considers what is before him and, well, can I actually do this? You don't make that in a split-second decision. And it's not something you do out of impulse either. Time is required. Time is required to be invested in it, to see that we've put in the proper preparation to construct that tower or to withstand that battle. Sometimes it's things that we don't do anymore because we're so accustomed to quickness, to immediacy. And I always say our way of communicating is exactly that. It's an immediate communication. And if someone takes more than 10 minutes to respond to your text, that can be tragic. Remember, I was looking kind of through my father's correspondence, and back in the 1970s, they were still writing letters. and how he would conduct business basically through correspondence. And I'm looking at the dates of those letters, and they were weeks apart, the replies. Yet they still did it. The world ran that way. And so with an enterprise such as this, the Agrupación, this year, our 90th, we are precisely going to take time to consider this tower that is being built. For the next 10 years, how are we going to build it? What are the resources we have to finish it? Not just, the financial resources, we have that. But there are other resources we need as well to take to account. And so even more does this gospel press upon us, and very timely as well, as these preparations are starting to be finalized for the 90th, also the expectation that's coming in this meeting in the 90th. We have to consider and sit down and calculate the cost of the project that we plan to do. This project, which hopefully will reach 100, a project which would continue to give fruit for 100 years. For 90 years it has, and we have the evidence right here, and it will continue to bear fruit. Well, how about for 100? Let's take the time to sit down and contemplate what we need for that foundation and for that completion. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.